Hello universe, this is Gypsy. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. This video is my Pan That Palette of the Week video. In this series of videos, I do not expect to pan out a palette in a week. I am getting reach and touch on an extensive collection of palettes that I have because eyeshadow is my kryptonite. Excuse my hair, my gel is still drying. But we're going to go ahead and get into this video. We're going to talk about the palette from last week, which was a BH Cosmetics Royal Affair palette with about 20 colors in it. And we're going to roll in a Kat Von D palette, the one that has the butterfly on the front of it. Haven't even used it yet. Haven't ever touched on it. So let's talk about the Royal Affair first. I used this palette along with my Pan as Old as Time palette project from the Fantastic Ladies. I used this to complement that palette. I'm wearing it today. I'm wearing a makeup technique that I wore a lot in the 1990s. We would take a sharp line and trace from the inner eyelid all the way out, and sometimes we would use the same color to line the eyes and make them connect and almost leave the lid plain. So it was supposed to just create something really dramatic for the eye. Wore that a lot in the 1990s with a dark maroon lipstick and typically matching fingernails. But I've been not decluttering, but using fingernail polish for an alternative use. I've gone through my polishes that I hate, that are just driving me crazy with chipping, and I'm using them in crafting, and I'll show you that in my Menage a Polish project. But let's get back to the Royal Affair. This is what the palette looks like. I believe that I touched on all the colors except maybe this black and maybe some of the like darker mattes. I didn't need to use those because I have dark colors in my Pan as Old as Time. My Pan as Old as Time is an Avon product that has brown, dark olive, black, a green that looks dark in the pan, but it's actually very light if you put it all over your lid. So I tend to cobble together Frankenpan, the black and the green, to make another olive, and then I have a frosty darkish tannish brown in there. So I wanted these colors for the lid. That's what I wanted to go for, was the lid. I didn't need anything to set this eyeliner that I'm wearing. I had that in the Pan as Old as Time, and I didn't need anything to do any type of smoking out in these corners because I wanted to use the olive for that. The Pan as Old as Time is the focus of the year. These are just to complement. I really enjoyed this palette. The colors lasted the entire day at work with no creasing. They weren't terribly powdery. They did powder a little putting them on, but I'll pick up that powder and just use it. I'm not one to heavily load a brush and tap it off. That's just not my makeup style. I'm one to lightly touch a pan, and if I have any powder sitting on the pan, the next time that I go into the pan, I'll pick that up. I don't know if it's just being, conservative or just being overly neat or why, but I don't like the idea of tapping off and blowing and having makeup dust all over the place. I don't know why I do that. I've never done that. But I did enjoy that palette, and I feel like I touched upon all but maybe 2 or 3 of the colors, and I will definitely pick this palette up again to use when I feel like I guess I've rotated and had good play, at least a week of play on my entire collection, and I can maybe I'll do something like a roulette pan. I like to have more control over what I'm choosing to wear than to play roulette. But I got to give props to you guys who do. I think that's really cool to just spin the wheel and whatever you get is what you wear. Here's my next palette for the week. This is a Kat Von D. I just call it the Butterfly palette. I've never, let me cover the mirror so I don't blind you. I've never touched this, guys. I've never worn it. I got it and it went up on the shelf, and I know that's a shame. So we're going to touch it this week. We've got a nice little collection of pinks and mauve colors. We've got a nice collection of some nude colors. This one looks silvery. We've got a nice collection of blues. I have blue eyes, so I might touch on these colors to set the eyeliner, but if I do that, I'm not going to have very much play out of my pan as old as time. So if you have any suggestions, I could do the line with the blue and go ahead and keep using the olive or the brown to set the eyeliner from my pan as old as time. I could keep using it like that. I want to get daily play out of the pan as old as time. This is optional. I want to get daily play out of the other one. This is to complement. So if you have any ideas of how I can touch into these dark colors and still get play on my pan as old as time, please share. I would appreciate that. I suspect that the colors across the bottom, because the one in the center looks like a frost, I'm thinking that's meant to be a highlight. I think the two on the outer edges over here might be the type of colors that you can start at the bottom and work all the way to the top, maybe to set a eye primer. I think maybe that's their intention. I don't think... They just have the names of the colors on them. They're not saying if it's any kind of a cheek color or if it's any kind of a... I'm going to use them on my eyes, guys. I'm going to try them on my eyes this week, and I'll just let you know. I'll just let you know, because I can't tell by what's going on the back what they're intended for. And it may be that I simply need to put my glasses on. But this is my palette of the week. Rolling this in. Never touched it before. Have no idea if I'm gonna like it. This is the palette I'm rolling out. The Royal Affair. Loved it. Really enjoyed it. Definitely my jam for what I wanted to do to complement my pan as old as time. Rolling this one in. So guys, I'll see you again in a week, and I'll let you know how this performed with the project I've already got going. Thank you so much for stopping by and supporting my channel. I really appreciate your comments, your subscriptions, and your time. Have a great weekend.